Hey you, how are you? You look great. The mic, I just bought it because I like to make these videos. I haven't showed you yet. They're very relaxing, and I basically thought it would be easier to talk to you when it's really late at night when everybody else is sleeping. So I'm gonna talk in a quiet voice if you don't mind. Yeah, I know we live in different time zones right now. I miss you so darn much, though. You don't look so happy. I know there was something you wanted to talk to me about. You know you can talk to me about anything. Tell me what's going on. So love is getting complicated, huh? My dear. I wish I could take all your pain away from you. I really do. Yes, I did leave the window open for you so you can hear the sounds of home. There's some frogs, crickets. I think there's like some bats or something outside. I can't tell what it is. But you know the wildlife up here. But anyways, hopefully they don't get too loud. It is their time. Nighttime. But yeah, I'm gonna try to talk quietly so nobody wakes up and then gets mad at me. So you just are having some relationship problems there, huh? Having trouble keeping up with everything. Well, let's just start one at a time, okay? You look a little panicked. And you know, I don't like to see you like this. If you were here, I would give you a great big hug. So basically, you feel like you can't communicate with each other? Yeah, young love. There's always something, whether you're a guy or a girl, there's always something about dating. There's always something different about each person where it's like you have to decide what are you willing to put up with? What are you looking for in a person? I know you love him, or at least you think you do, my dear. I don't want to hurt your feelings or make you think I don't understand or tell you that he's wrong for you. But there's just sometimes, I've already been through it all, but I don't want to be preachy. Sometimes love is just really complicated because we think we know what it is, and then we don't really know what it is until we know what it is. Yeah, one of those weird explanations of mine. But if you can't communicate with him, and he can't communicate with you, I think that maybe you guys might need some time apart. You feel like your heart is breaking. You just want to love him. I know you do. I know you just want to love him, but you know, you guys, I'm not going to blame him, and I'm not going to blame you because it takes two people to fight, and it's young love. Yes, my dear, it's young love. You both are just trying to figure yourselves out. Honestly, if it didn't work out, that's really what I would suggest. Getting to know yourself keep working on yourself and focus on getting, I always told you, you don't got to go to college. You can, or a university, you can just get a little certificate or something small like your CNA or, well, you already know I got my CDL. I went to college too, but I think just something small pays off better sometimes. Unless if college is working for you. But you always got to have something, you need to focus on yourself. And if you don't know what you want to do with your life, then just, try to do your best to get a good job. And at your job, just learn to deal with those difficult people. Oh, God, yeah. I've worked with some difficult people. Trust me. This one lady always liked to point out how slow I was working, according to her. But she was really the slow one. She just didn't want management to notice it. That's the thing about jobs. And you can't go without them sometimes. Unless if you are a genius and you figure out stuff. I'm not a genius. I'm just a dreamer, but a believer in my dreams. That's how I got where I got. You're gonna get where you need to go to. I promise. As for that whole love thing right now, I think you just need to think about yourself a little bit. I mean, if he doesn't hear what you're saying and you don't hear what he's saying, then maybe, instead of having a broken heart, learn to love yourself more. Yes, I know, sweetie, it's so cliche, but it is cliche, but it is true, and you won't realize it until you realize it. I'm telling you. I spent a lot of time doing stupid stuff when I was younger, being in a lot of relationships before you came along. I was in a lot of relationships and I just wouldn't settle because it wouldn't work out and I was trying to force it and the relationships just never worked out. And when you force it, it's not going to make it happen anymore. It's not going to make it any easier. It's not going to make what you want to happen. If you love him, there's a saying. If you love him and you let him go and he comes back, maybe that's not such a good... Well, never mind. Let's just scratch that. It could be true. I mean, if you let him go and he comes back and he's a different person, it may only last for so long. And then maybe he'll go back to his old ways. It's not just guys that do that, sweetheart. It's women too. And from my personal experience, I just want you to know that it doesn't matter what happens in your relationship. You're still young. Even when you're old, you'll be young. Because we always think that we were going to die when we're like 60, 70, 80. But, on your dad's side of the family, he has a lot of old relatives, stubborn people that like to live to 115 years old. Yeah, she did. So if you look at it in a time span, you became 18, you've been working since you were 16, and now you're going to college or whatever. university, college, whatever. Same thing to me. Sorry, sweetie. But in the time span of things, then you're supposed to pay off all this debt, and you're supposed to work until a certain age. Then you retire, and then you think you're gonna die, like, you know. But I mean, if you can retire at a certain age, time goes fast, but it goes slow. How about that? I'm not so good at explaining things. But what I can tell you is it's gonna be okay. I always used to think that I was old, even when I was young. And I'm still not old, but, you know, it just depends on the person, or if they're older than me or if they're younger than me. What are they gonna think? But in the span of things with this relationship, and that hurt that you're feeling in your heart right now, you don't know what the future brings, and it's just a little period of time. It's just a snapshot in time. Remember that song we used to listen to by Dio, Rainbow in the Dark? Remember how I told you that my interpretation is he said, when there's lightning, it always brings me down, because when the lightning comes, these aren't the exact words, but when the lightning comes, it shows him everything, and he feels like he's lost and he's never going to be found, but he's a rainbow in the dark, and everything's just a picture, just a snapshot in time. It's so true. That's all we are. A snapshot in time. There's some weird noises outside. It's usually pretty quiet with some really peaceful noises. But I should know there's some weird animal noises. I don't even know what animals they are. This is just something that right now it hurts, and I know it feels like it's the end of the world. But it's not. It's not the end of the world. You have so much potential. I know that's not what you want to hear. You want to hear that all you want is for it to work with this guy. And it's not, like I said, I'm not blaming him. It takes two to fight, two to tango, two to disagree, two to misunderstand each other. So, let me just give you some blunt advice, okay? And I just say this because I care about you so much. And I can't wait to see you again. And you know you always got me. You know I'm always here for you. I know it's hard. I really do. It's hard. I went through the same things, only I did a lot worse. I mean, I did good things like, work and go to college, but I partied a lot, and I was depressed a lot, and I don't want you to be that way. So I'm just going to be blunt with you, okay, sweetheart? You know you always got me. A broken heart is horrible, and you feel like it's not going to work with you and him. But what about you? Because there's always another guy. That's one thing as being older, I can tell you. There's always another guy. And there's always going to be another girl for him. If things don't work out, unfortunately, that's how life works. So, I think you need to focus on yourself a little bit more. Okay? Because you're important. You're smart. You're beautiful. You're wonderful. You're everything to me. And I've been through what you've been through, and I wish if I could go back, I would respect myself more. I wouldn't have, I felt kind of pushed into a lot of the relationships that I was in. And pressured, maybe is a better word. Nobody can really push you into a relationship, but pressured. Like, I just wanted to stay single, and at one point when I was younger, all these guys just wanted to date me, and I didn't know what to do, and I ended up just dating them, and I didn't really even take them seriously, didn't really want to be with them. If I could go back, I would just focus on myself, seriously. That's what I would do. I would focus on myself. I'm just talking a little bit quieter here because I heard somebody rustling out there. But it's okay because I'm talking to you. So, basically, if I could go back, I would focus on myself a bit. I'd make myself the best version of myself that I could be, so that I could, when the right guy came, when he comes around, I can be the best person that he needs, and hopefully he'll be the best person for me. That's what I think is right, because, when I met your father, I was not in very good shape, and neither was he. We had been through so many relationships and had so many problems from the past just come up, and then it caused problems in our relationship, but we were made for each other. It's just that we never took the time to love ourselves. And because we didn't do that, when the relationship that was meant to be came, it made it much harder, much more complicated than it should be. So I really think you need to take some time and respect yourself, because you're greater than you could ever imagine. You are just greater than you could ever imagine, my dear. You really are. And that boy, just because you guys aren't seeing eye to eye, and just because, things are going wrong, it doesn't mean he's the bad guy. It just means he's got a little bit of growing up to do, and so do you. And, if you don't end up together, then hopefully you guys will both end up with good people, the people that you're meant to be with. But if you waste your time on something that you need to really weigh this year, is it worth being with him? Do you feel like it's going to pay off in the long run? Does he want what you want? Because I remember you said you wanted to have children. Did he say he wanted to have children? It flip-flops. Sometimes you do, and then sometimes you feel like he's pressuring you to, and then he changes his mind. You two are something else, I tell you. Well, you really got to be on the same page when it comes to children, because that's the future, and it is so much easier to raise a child when both parents are on board, and a child, as wonderful and beautiful as they are, they can cause a lot of strain in a relationship. Trust me, a newborn is hard. The crying, the screaming, trying to figure out, are we both going to work? Is one of us going to stay home? Who's going to get up with her? Who's going to change her? Your body, having the baby, going back to normal. These are all things you got to make sure you're with the right person with, because it can be much easier if you're with the right person. So you guys got to figure out, are you on the same page? Do you want to have children or do you not? Because you guys have talked about this before. 1 minute you do, and 1 minute you don't, and then 1 minute he does, 1 minute he doesn't. Always got to be on the same page with these things, my dear. Yes. And marriage too. Because I know you say you want to get married. You want that beautiful wedding, but you know the wedding being beautiful isn't the most important part. It's nice. The most important part is being with the person, becoming one with the person that you love, that you want is your best friend, that you want to be with the rest of your life. Not just someone so you can have a beautiful wedding, honey. A lot of women and a lot of men do that. They just want to have a beautiful wedding and they want attention on them, or they just so badly want it. Maybe they want a family. I don't know. See, me and your dad just had a courthouse wedding. I kind of wish I had a bigger wedding, but the most important thing is who I got married to. It's nice to have a really great wedding, and I hope that you do, because you deserve it. If that's what you guys end up doing, or if you end up, dating another guy and he's the one and you marry him, whoever you end up marrying, you deserve a great wedding, that's for sure. Yeah, I agree. But the most important thing is marrying the person that you want to be with for the rest of your life. Because if you don't do that, then sometimes that's how divorce happens. Sometimes that's how you can be really unhappy and find yourself in a situation where you feel trapped, because it's a commitment and it takes work. There are going to be times where your relationship will be tested, and you're going to think to yourself, why did I do this? It happens a lot in a lot of different relationships. So you need to make sure that you guys are on the same page. And you don't have to rush anything. I know that it's hard being away from your family, and sometimes you feel alone, and maybe even you feel unloved. I love you with all my heart. I'm so sorry that you feel unloved and you feel alone, but a boyfriend isn't gonna fix that. It's only temporary, and especially if he's not the right one. It's hard being alone, and it's hard feeling unloved. We love you, but I understand there's been times in my life where I know people love me, but it didn't feel like it. You came from this home, and I tried to raise you and teach you the best that I could, but nobody's ever perfect, right? What about school and a career? You're confused? You're confused to do what you want to do with your life? Well, honey, you never mentioned this before. Yeah, it's getting hard. Well, the only thing, you've got a couple options here. You keep pushing through, or you take a break and you work really hard. Maybe even just go for something that's easier to get, like a certificate, so that you can have some kind of job security or something to fall back on, and then worry about getting something bigger in the long run. There's a lot of little things you can get out there that don't take as long to get as a big degree, like an associate's, bachelor's, or a master's, or whatever. There's a lot of little things out there that you can do that make more. And you won't have to deal with customer service. There's a lot of things you can do if you're not sure what you want to do. Or you can just keep plugging at it and see how it goes. Honestly, there's really no right or wrong. You don't have the answer in front of you. You're kind of just winging it as you go. That's how life is. It's hard to get somewhere when you don't know where you're going, right? I think that's from Alice in Wonderland. Where are you going? I don't know. Well, how are you going to get there if you don't know? I don't know if it's something like that. I don't know if that's a quote from Alice in Wonderland. I used to read that to you when you were little. Don't you remember? That's one of my favorite books, Alice in Wonderland. It's actually very insightful. What about your friends? That too. Oh, my darling. Friends come and go. I don't want you to think that I'm being insensitive here, but jobs come and go, friends come and go, even family comes and goes for a lot of people. But I'll always be here, okay? I'll always be here. But, yeah, if your friend is not, she doesn't want to hear about your problems, but you have done a lot for her to help her, then I guess she's a fair weather friend, my dear. She's only around for the good weather. She's not a real friend, sweetie. A real friend is there for you no matter how dramatic you may seem, no matter what you go through. Unfortunately, that's more of an acquaintance if she's your friend, but she doesn't want to hear what you have to say or be there for you through the bad times. If someone would call you dramatic especially if you listened to her problems before. Friends can be difficult too. But you gotta remember that they come and they go. And some friends that you think are friends and you think that you're good friends with them are actually acquaintances. I had to learn that the hard way. I was going through a really hard time back a while ago. I think you might remember. And it was a family thing in our family. Some of our family is very crazy. But I vented to her the way she vented to me, and she stopped talking to me, and she acted all funny towards me at this wedding that I was in, which was a big disaster. And my goodness, it was a big mistake. And then I realized, I messaged her after not hearing from her. It was always me messaging her. I said, "Did I do something wrong to you?" She just didn't like how I went about my life, how I made my choices. I mean, you rush into things, you do this, you do that, you complain too much, you're always complaining, there's always something wrong. Well, at the time, I was going through a hard time. So I figured out she's a fair weather friend. She's only around for the good weather, and technically that makes her acquaintance. And after she said that to me, I said, bye. Because you know what? They're not worth it. You can always make new friends. You can. I know sometimes you feel like you don't got the confidence and you're shy and things like that. And how am I going to make friends? What if I look stupid because I feel shy and I don't know what to say? But you know what? You just got to work on your confidence. Remember, I taught you how to fake confidence? And if you can't fake confidence, then just be yourself, and there's got to be somebody somewhere that'll be your friend. And if anything, you can't find a friend, you still got me. You still got your family here. And some of your other crazy relatives. But it's going to be okay, honey. Friends come and go. Sometimes even family comes and go. There's family that we don't talk to because they don't like us, and they think they're better than us, or they just don't want to talk to us. So we just gotta love each other, be ourselves, and most importantly, you need to love yourself. That'll help a lot with this boyfriend issue, with these friends issue, and once you figure yourself out, then maybe you'll be able to figure out your career. but you know there's no pressure here. Everything will work its way out. And when you're young, things feel like you're always searching for something. You're preparing to become an adult, but you're supposed to be an adult by the time you're 18. So the way I looked at it is I felt like I was searching for the longest time until I hit a certain age. And then after I hit that age, I did have, my CDL, and I did have 2 degrees, but that's not what made me stop searching. That's not what gave me confidence. What gave me confidence is hey, I got a roof over my head. I got people that care about me. I got a working car. I have food in my refrigerator, my cupboards. I have a dog. I have my child. I have my husband. I have all those things. So, and someday, I don't know how things are going to go for you, sweetie, but you got to have a little bit of faith, okay? Because things will get better. I know it's hard to see it now from your perspective because everything's so scary. Like, what if it doesn't go right? But if it doesn't go right, I guarantee as long as you keep trying, something good will come. It took me a long time for anything good to come. I was so afraid of being homeless. I was homeless a couple times, actually. Yeah, I lived out of my car. And I was going from friend's house to friend's house, taking showers, going to the gym just to take a shower. Slept in my job's parking lot at a grocery store I was working at that was 24 hours. And I was a cake decorator, and I slept in the parking lot because I had nowhere else to sleep. So, you know what? It took me a while, but that's not going to happen to you. Just keep trying. And if things get difficult, I want you to have hope. Because, you'll get there. And if you surround yourself with the right people, even though it's hard to find them, then you'll find opportunities come. They come to you. They really do. And once if this guy is not the guy for you, once you meet the guy that is, you're going to be like, oh, that's why I wasn't meant to be with him. That's why I'm here now. If I had never left him, I wouldn't be here. And you're going to be really thankful. I can guarantee that. And then if you weren't really meant to do what you're doing in school, and you didn't, go for something else or take a break or whatever, then when you figure out what you really want to do, you're going to regret it. It's okay to regret it. It's not a big deal, but still, you can make it easier on yourself. You're smart. You're smarter than you give yourself credit for. Look at you. You're already doing so much and you just don't see it. I think you get that from my father's side of the family. They're so negative. But it's okay, honestly. I've been that way for a while, and I learned that you just can't control it. You can't control other people, so why try? And you just gotta get rid of some of that anxiety that's sitting in your tummy and try to feel better. Just try. You think you can do that for me? I love to see you smile. Did I make you feel better? I know it comes across as preachy sometimes when a mother talks to you like that. Yeah. Oh. Well, I'm here for you. And I love you. You're smart. You're beautiful and you're kind. I got that from a movie, yes. But you are smart. You are beautiful. And you are kind. And I'm talking about your soul. You're beautiful on the outside too, whether you think so or not. I always told you your soul's more important. This world is weird. Why focus so much on all that? Yeah, you gotta find your happiness too. And happiness isn't just boyfriends or making money and school and partying and getting drunk, which you really don't do, but I did. So, it's not all about that. Happiness is finding a hobby. Happiness is the people that are in your family you surround yourself with. Happiness is doing something you love. Happiness is being happy with yourself. Yeah, it took me many years to figure that out. But here we are. And I wish I could take all your pain away. But unfortunately I can't. And it's difficult. But we're gonna make it through, kid. We're gonna make it through, and you're gonna be just fine. And you just gotta really love yourself. Do you understand me? If anything had ever happened to me in my life, I would just want you to know you have to care about yourself. You have to respect yourself. You have to be able to take care of yourself first before you jump into a relationship so you don't have anything bad happen to you. I've seen a lot of women get abused because they wanted to be with someone so bad and they jumped into the relationship with no good job that will get, to get them out of that relationship. So they were stuck in a situation where they were abused. And I always told you to make sure that you have something to fall back on before you really jump into a relationship. You have me, but just in case if something happened to me and your dad, I just want to make sure that you're going to be okay. Okay? Yeah. Find something. And it doesn't have to be anything big. We don't want you to suffer. I don't want you to be drowning in debt like I was at one point. I just want you to have something to fall back on, make some money, and be happy with yourself, not because anybody else. That's really important, sweetheart. You look really tired. I'm not quite tired right now. I actually have been having trouble falling asleep. But eventually I'll probably get to sleep. We'll see how it goes, right? You're gonna be okay, sweetie. I promise. Love yourself. I don't care if you don't like that girl in the mirror, you think your face is fat, or you think your nose is... Wait, none of that stuff matters. What's beautiful is you being you. The whole world will show you what beauty is, but when you get older, you're like, well, it fades. So it doesn't really matter as much as you think, sweetie. You gotta love yourself, okay? Yeah. You gotta learn. You need to learn to love yourself a little bit more. And I thought that I kind of taught you a little bit better than that, but it's not your fault. It's hard with all the media and everything and everything around you and people's expectations and all this stuff. It's hard, but you're gonna be okay. Yeah, you look exhausted, so maybe we'll have another video chat another time, okay? And you work on those things, okay? And if you need to, you call me, or you talk to me, or we'll see what happens, okay? Everything's gonna be okay, sweetie. Just remember, Mommy loves you. Okay. And yes, I am always your mommy. Alright. I'll talk to you later, okay, sweet?